In maintaining machines, you want to use an oil that's rated for machine use. We use these pen oilers. They have a 20 weight oil within it. And you can get these at Walmart, or Coleman and Company actually sells these at a very discounted price. But what it is, it's called a pen oil because on the top is a syringe which will allow me to pinpoint my oiling on the machine. And the reservoir has up to 4 ounces worth of oil. So this will actually last me a long time. And then you can refill this by simply unscrewing the syringe part and then refilling it with oil. So this is a very nice tool to use in your oiling techniques on your machine. Now, a couple places we're going to oil on the machine. The first place is called the rotary hook. The rotary hook, this is a rotary hook off the machine. It's actually comprised of 2 different parts, okay? Where our bobbin goes into is called the inner basket. And around the inner basket is the rotary hook, okay? Matter of fact, this inner basket will always stay stationary, and as we sew, this rotary hook spins and spins and spins, okay? Making our stitching on our machine. Now, the point we want to actually oil is the relationship, let me see, at right here, at 100 degrees on our machine means the machine is at rest. We could see the point, our hook point right here is actually what's responsible for picking up the thread from the needle, okay, and making a stitch. Between this point and the inner basket, it's metal and metal. So what we want to do on the machine is we want to take our oiler and we want to set it in between these 2 areas here and place a bead of oil around it. Off to the left-hand side over here, we do have a felt pad which helps the rotary hook keep itself oiled through a period of time. On this rotary hook, it's very important that you oil this twice a day, at least every 4 hours. On a normal schedule, I'll oil this rotary hook right before operation of the day and probably right after lunch. To oil it, now we'll show you on the machine how we're going to oil it. We can see the rotary hook on our machine, and you can see it's right below the needle plate area. First thing we want to do is actually take out our bobbin by lifting up on the tab of the bobbin and sliding it right out of the inner basket. Our oiling point is right between these 2 areas, right in between the hook point and the inner basket. I'm just going to put a bead of oil right there. You'll see it leak right down. And then our felt pad is right here, so I'm going to keep that oiled. Just dab a little bit of oil on that. We'll take our bobbin again, put it back in, make sure you hear the snap. Put the thread over top of the picker arm and then close your cover. The next part we're going to oil is the head rail here. And to get to it, we need to press number 1 on the control panel, which will change our color. When we do, we see this little gutter area right here. And what I want to do is put my pen oil on there, and I want to beat up a little bit of oil right in the cul-de-sac there. And that oil is going to travel down to a wicking system that oils the internal shafts behind that head. Changing the machine to the opposite needle, which on this machine is needle number 15, we can get to the other side of the head rail where we'll see another cul-de-sac where we need to place oil. This should be done once a week. On the back of our machine, we can see the oil reservoir. This is an automatic oiling system that's on your machine that's going to oil the external parts of those shafts that we just oiled on the head rail. On the head rail, we oil out inside the shaft, and this oils the exterior part of the shaft. Now this you want to oil every week, about 5 drops of oil. At the base of this reservoir is a felt pad that keeps that oil and delivers it to the machine when needed. Next part we're going to oil are these 3 points on our bed rail here. And our rotary hook, which is in the front, which we oiled earlier, actually has a shaft that goes through the entire length of this area here. At the front and at the back are 2 bushings that shaft goes through. We want to keep that nice and cool. So once a week we're going to drop 3 drops of oil here, 3, and then we'll go to the front part. 3 drops of oil in this one, okay, and that'll take care of that. The next part we have is this part right here, and this oil reservoir operates our picker assembly on the front of our machine, and there's a small shaft for it, so we're going to drop 3 drops of oil once a week in here as well. Once a month, what you want to do is oil the upper section of your needle bars and the lower section. To get to it, on the left-hand side of the take-up lever right here, we can see an access slot where our needle bar, the top part of our needle bar, is actually hidden. If we take our oiler and set it on the spring, we can actually dispense oil that will flow down that needle bar and collect on a felt pad at the bottom, keeping the needle bar nice and lubricated. To oil the bottom section of the needle bars, you need to get to the back of your machine to where we can see the lower section of the needle bars. Setting our machine to needle number 1 will allow us to get the left-hand side the needle bars. So what we'll do is we take our oiler, just like we did in the front, we will place oil right down that needle bar. Doesn't require a lot, just a little bit to actually trickle down to the felt pad down here. And then we'll do every needle bar back here, working our way over to the center. When I've oiled all the needle bars that I can get to from this side, I'll then color change to needle number 15 and then oil the right hand side as well. The bobbin case itself gets dirty. Okay, you got to remember, our machine is sewing at 750, 850 stitches per minute, probably 1,000. Well, the dust that collects around this object is actually going to start to turn into a gluey substance. And it starts collecting underneath this tension spring here. Try to get yourself in the habit that every time you change out bobbin, that you clean the bobbin case. Now, what we want to do, we want to clean out underneath the spring, and the best way to do that is with a business card. Just slide the business card underneath of it and pull towards you. This will remove any dust that's collecting underneath this, pushing that spring up. The other part we want to clean out is on the inside, okay? There's a little spring inside this bobbin holder. We're just going to pull that out. And then what you want to do is with either with a spray, a can of air, or maybe a small little brush, you can actually clean the dust that populates on the inside of this bobbin holder. Okay, and I'll just use my finger to clean it out. And then we'll put the spring back in. Pop it down. There's little tabs on each side. And then again, we'll put our bobbin in. Goes down the slot, around the clip spring.
We're going to take a look at how to clean underneath the needle plate. What you'll need is an offset screwdriver. This actually comes in your blue toolkit. All we're going to do is come underneath. There's 2 screws in the very back, and we're just going to start loosening them up. This just lifts up. You don't have to worry about the screw in the very front. It just lifts up. Now we're ready to clean underneath the needle plate. What you're going to be looking for underneath here is any kind of little snips of threads, anything like that. And I'm going to use a tweezer. It actually works much better if you have something that's not quite metal, but you can see what I'm picking out of here. Any kind of compressed air that's made for electronics is perfectly okay to use. Be very careful. This little dark area here is called the fixed mez, and this silver area is called the moving mez. These are your knives, so you want to make sure that you stay away from the very edge of it with any kind of metal tool. If you chip the knives, it's very possible you'll stop getting thread cuts. So just clean out underneath there, pick out any little snips of thread that you can find, and just dispose of them, and then you can use your air. You can also use the toothbrush that came with your machine, and just go in there and start wiping it around, and this will get a lot of dust off of there as well. Pay particular attention to this screw area on the moving mez, because there are a lot of times when things will build up in there, and you want to be very careful to get it all out. Once you have that clean, you can put a little bit of oil in there. Just use your little oil pen and just oil back by the screw. Make sure that there's a little bit of oil going in here. You can also put it on the top of the fixed mez and then just wipe it with a paper towel. When you're ready, you're just going to take your universal plate and put it right on, putting the front screw on first, and then take your screws and put them back on.